All right, welcome back to another edition of Checkers, Wreckers, and What the Heckers. My name is Chad Beard, and I'm a country music artist, content creator, and NASCAR super fan. I'm joined, as always, by my incredible co-host. Please allow me to introduce them to you. He's the man whose hairline defies science, logic, and gravity itself. You could land a helicopter on that volume and still have room for a pit crew. He's smoother than Blaney's burnout and slicker than Kyle Larson on fresh tires. Ladies and gentlemen, hide your wives and your clippers. It's the follicle phenom himself, the Ohio outlaw with conditioner running through his veins, Rick Kojan.
I love you, Chad. Thank you. And my hair loves you. And we are good and happy to be back. And I can't believe you just keep me on this star-studded podcast, but thank you.
Oh, whatever. Like I'm the
What does
one in
that
charge
mean?
here. Like
You
I'm the
are
one in
the
charge.
one in charge. We talk about this all the time, and then you go, "Oh, it's a team effort," because that's who you are. You're a soft-hearted, wonderful human being. But you're the big toe. You are Sergeant Hulka. You're the big toe.
Oh.
Hands down, big toe.
All right, here we go.
This is better.
Faster than a one-night stand after a last call and louder than Denny Hamlin's radio check. This man once set a speed record at Wake Forest and hasn't stopped running from responsibility since. He's part caffeine, part chaos, and part questionable Wi-Fi connection. Hendrick Motorsports IT wizard and the only guy who can reboot a server and your bad decisions. Put your hands together for Chris, the Supreme Court Justice, and all rulings are final.
All rise.
Listen, good to see you, boys.
How we doing, fellas?
What up?
Hey, real good, real good.
It's going to be a good one tonight.
Rick, we got a nice little sipper tonight. And, thanks to what we have coming up next. But yes, it's going to be good times.
Yeah. It's going to be a good night. Speaking of what we got coming up next, guys, it's only going to get crazier. You may need that little sipper right there for the weekend. What we got going on this weekend, Chris Justice?
Well, Sunday morning. It's finally here. It's finally here. Sunday morning, the NASCAR Fan Experience stage. It'll be us three knuckleheads and our main man, Noah Gregson, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. That means we cannot party too hard Saturday night on the boulevard. We have to take our asses to bed. We got to be sharp.
I think we're going to party.
You sound like a parent. That's depressing.
All the people that are going to be there. Listen, Noah Gregson shows up. He's already said he wants us hanging out at his RV and riding around on his golf cart. That's going to be trouble. I got a text today that our buddies Lars and Tina are driving up from Florida.
I got a text today.
Yeah, I got that one too. Yep,
they're coming up. Our guy Jesse and his family are going to be there.
Super fan Jesse, who rivals your super fandom.
Yeah, our buddy Mark Tenorti, NHL legend, who was on a few weeks ago, is going to be there. Yeah, we're going to have a crew there in Talladega. It's going to be good. They're going to let us on the big stage before the race, fellas. It's going to be a big day.
Big day. I'm excited. Can't wait.
Yeah.
So I ran into Gregson. Obviously, it's not hard at Vegas. And he's shouting, Coco. And the guys on my team are like, dude, somebody's calling you Coco. And I turn around and it's Noah. I'm like, hey, Coco. He's like, hey, Coco. And all the guys on my team are like, what is that all about? And I'm like, oh, maybe we'll explain that on the NASCAR stage next weekend.
Yeah.
He's a nut. He's super excited. And all the credit to Supreme Court Justice for landing him on the podcast. And I guess the credit goes to you, Chad, for the part about getting us on the actual NASCAR Fan Experience stage, which still, I'm that pessimistic guy. I still think there's going to be some snafu, and last minute they're going to be like, yeah, you can't be up there. Like, they're really going to let us up there?
Yeah, I got even more emails today, so it's officially official. And
wait till you see my outfit, too.
Oh, gosh.
I'm going full-on Pat McAfee, like college game day.
Game day ready.
Come on.
So you're coming.
Oh, man.
So you're coming
love
by
the boots.
You're coming by my suit store?
No. You'll see.
All right. Well, and the really cool part about that is our guy Travis from Chord Buddy is going to be there. Chord
Yes.
Buddy, who brings this show to you every single week. Y'all, this guy is incredible. I'm excited for you two to meet him in person and all the folks in Talladega to meet
For
him,
sure.
to see the Chord Buddy in action. We're going to get to set it up, show some fans how it works. That's going to be awesome. He's bringing his son. It's going to be a good time. So go check them out. Check out their full line of products. If you've ever wanted to learn to play guitar, you can now do it on day one using the Chord Buddy. You put this thing right here on the neck of your guitar. You use these color corded tabs and you're playing actual guitar chords. And then as you get better, as you start strumming, as you learn how to strum the guitar, you pop these tabs off and you replace that with your fingers and you're playing actual chords. It's training wheels to learn to play guitar. It comes with songbooks. It comes with everything you need to learn to play guitar. Guitar playing made simple. Check out the full line of products at thechordbuddy.com, CHORD buddy.com. Thanks to Travis and all those guys. We are looking forward to that in Talladega. And they are also bringing you this guest episode. And boys, we got a guest.
Yes, buddy is like shoe buddy, shoe buddy.
Listen, this is the first time I think on this show. Buddy. So we've had athletes, we've had
coaches,
we've had
country stars,
we've had broadcasters, we've had NASCAR drivers, we've had all kind of people. And I've never like felt intimidated about writing an intro for them and thinking that I could be funny. Why do I think I can be funny introing a comedian?
To a guy who's super funny. Yeah.
Right. To a guy who is this legendary. But I'm going to give it a shot. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
Come on, let's see what you got. You set it up. Let's go. You got a good one.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, grab your drinks and hide your girlfriends because tonight's guest is a walking, talking shot of tequila with a microphone. He's toured the country making crowds laugh until they snort, partied with people your mom told you to stay away from, and he still shows up looking like he just wandered off a mariachi tour bus. He's the guy who can roast you in English, charm your grandma in Spanish, and probably do both before last call. From comedy clubs to tequila bars, he's done it all and probably doesn't remember half of it. Give it up for the legend, the laughing machine, the one who puts the Rey in Reymundo. Alex freaking Reymundo is here.
That was strong.
That was strong.
Cheers to that intro.
Cheers to that. Man. The Rey and Reymundo.
Wait,
you outdid yourself.
And I gotta say, accurate. It is all true. Every bit of it, every word. As you were saying it, I was like, check. Yes. Oh shit. Yes.
Did it.
Forgot it. I sure did.
I think I did it. And I can attest to some of that because I've had the and we'll get into this more in a little bit, but I've had the pleasure of hanging out with Alex a little bit and fun nights, fun times with Alex. So Alex, where are you from originally?
Acapulco, Mexico. Born in Acapulco, moved to Texas, Fort Worth, Texas when I was 2 years old, which is why I sound this way. Started stand-up at 23, and I've been unemployed since. And I live in Louisville, Kentucky now.
So how do you get into stand-up, especially in Texas, in rural Texas?
Everybody, I mean, it's a different path for everyone, but everyone does it the exact same way. You find a stage that's doing open mic, whether it's a place that does it once a month or whether it's a local comedy club that has it once a week, or you find a stage and, or it could be a coffee bar. Everyone does, but you got to get on that stage the first time and you got to find someone that'll, give you that opportunity. And hopefully you respect the 11 or the 89 people that were there to see it, enough to have your shit together.
Yeah. So what was your first gig? Where was that at? And how many people were there for it?
It was a pretty solid crowd because it was at the Arlington Funny Bone Comedy Club in 89. And and that was a very, I mean, comedy clubs were booming across the country, and that was the one of the nation's busiest at the time. And the open mic nights, I mean, there were 270 people from Wednesday to Sunday for all the shows, and they used to do 8 shows a week. And I know all that because I used to bartend there, and I was the bar manager, and then became the manager. But during that time, started doing stand up. But on open mic nights, we always had a solid, 80 to 150 people that would come to watch, um, local amateurs and local working comics, just have fun, kind of the best of. And we had one rule. We were Anyway, we used to do the promo during the show, saying all the other shows saying, "Hey, if you think this looks easy, if you think you could do this, we do this on Tuesdays. Come out on a Tuesday night, write 4 minutes of original material, and we'll put you on stage, and we'll get that thought right out of your head."
That's awesome.
Good challenge. One thing we would do is as the manager of the club, me and this other, I was assistant manager at the time. This girl named Sarah Nye, who went on to manage the Improv in Cleveland and open that room. She and I would host auditions every Tuesday at noon for comics that wanted to perform the following Tuesday. And we were not looking for if anybody's material was funny. We just wanted to make sure that they had 3 or 4 minutes of something prepared. We weren't there to judge it. We said that's up to the audience. But as long as they had something prepared, we're like, all right, give them a shot. If they were just kind of winging it, we'd like, fuck you. Give it, you got to come back and try it again. But those auditions would happen on Tuesday at noon. And that's when, at that time, we were just working on the phones, calling, getting people into the club. That was our lunch break. And so when they would audition, it was me and Sarah, maybe someone else that was working the phones, the lady that cleaned the club, whoever was making deliveries. Some of our delivery people used to start to try to get there on Tuesdays at noon just so they could watch. So there'd be maybe 7 or 8 people watching you, plus the other 2 or 3 comics who are coming to audition. And it was fun. It was fun. I'll tell you a funny story about that. Uh, One of the funniest things I've ever seen. This comic goes up and he's really nervous and he's just trying to get his thoughts out, and he ralphs right on the stage.
Oh,
right on the stage,
man.
just because he's so, discombobulated.
Right.
He's just freaking out. He's catching vertigo. I don't know what's going on in his life, but he's just he loses. He tosses his cookies right there on the stage, and it's dark in the room, and he runs out, and everyone's kind of grossed out. Me and Sarah are eating our lunch, and Sarah goes, "Next." And everybody went, "What the?" And whoever was next, some dude goes, well, right now? And she goes, "Next." And he goes, There's Ralph on the
There's
stage.
puke on the stage.
And she goes, "If you're gonna do stand-up comedy, it's gonna get way worse than that, buddy. Next."
Wow. Wow.
She was cutthroat.
I was like, "You hardcore bitch."
Love that.
Wow.
So tell me, like, especially early on, like, how did you learn to craft your bits? Like, for me, like, I always try. I feel like when I was, when I'm on stage, like, especially you've seen me do acoustic shows.
Yeah.
So like, I always feel like comedy is such a necessary part of those like intimate acoustic shows.
Absolutely.
And not that I would love to try my hand at it. I don't think I could ever be you or anybody of that scale, but like I feel like I had to learn to kind of create bits inside my country music world. And I have a safe space because I can hide behind a guitar, and if things starts going south, I can play a song, right? I'm like, well, that didn't hit. Here, hey, here's your favorite song. But so but
I think what you're talking about is a connection. I don't know about comedy, but that's a connection. You're just trying right there because you're trying to get to the next song and you're trying to involve the people. It's such a great point that you're making because I'm a huge fan of live music. Ever since I saw my first concert, which was the summer of ninth and 10th grade, I was started trying to go to see every show I could see, even if I didn't like the band. I just wanted to see what was going on in Dallas Fort Worth.
That's why you came to my show.
No,
you didn't like the band, but somebody was like,
what I'm trying to say is I recognize now when a band is awesome and they're jamming, but also I recognize when a band is, even if they're good or if they're that in between, sometimes there's just the band either if they suck, it's even worse. But even good bands, there's moments that they're just not even connecting with the people. They're thinking about what they're doing, and it's such an important thing. And obviously, in stand up, it's super important because you're the one on the stage the whole time and nothing else. Um, I think I learned. I'm still learning, right? I did a show last night, and I record everyone, and I go back and like Peyton Manning used to say, you listen to you watch the tape and it's brutal sometimes, but it's also how you get better. Because there's no way you can remember exactly what happened that whole time on stage.
Yeah.
So I'm always still learning, but I also was fortunate that I grew up in a really nice comedy club. And I got to be around a lot of great comics that people know their names now, and some of them people don't know their names. And because I was the manager and assistant manager and the bartender and a cool dude, they liked me enough to take the time to tell me, "Hey, man, check this out." And comics help each other. But in the early days, I think was your question. It really came from a lot of friends who said, "Hey, stage presence is important." Look, like a quarterback, scan the field,
Yeah.
things that you might not think about.
What, how would you go about like crafting your bits though? That's the thing that I'm super curious about. Like, obviously, like for me, like if I get a song idea, I jot them down in my phone, right? Do you do the same thing and like build from there? How's that work?
Yeah, there's everyone does it different, and there's a lot of an amazing comics that are very disciplined writers that'll write it out and think it out and figure it out however they do, whatever their formula. I'm the kind of guy that writes one thought down. If I usually I'll work in the yard. I love manual labor. Be working in my yard. I'll be working with the horses. I'll be working on my car. I'll be whatever it is, and I'll smoke a bowl. And then my thoughts just kind of become,
Creativity.
and I'll just that seems to me when I kind of think, oh, that's kind of funny, and I just jot that thought down, and then I don't know if it's because I'm not a disciplined writer or I trust myself enough. I'll take that thought to the stage and know that if I bring it up, I might have one line or something on it, but then I've got to fill every 7 to 8 seconds with some kind of emotion. And I work it out up there. I just kind of, hey, how about this? How about that? And I guess you might say I'm trying to figure out how I feel about it. And I think the most honest way to do that is in front of everyone that's trusting me to tell the truth, according to me. That makes sense.
No,
Yeah.
total sense. So you have a thought and you build on it on stage there as you go. You're
I
just off the
do.
top.
I do because we're the first one. If you're a good listener, we're the first ones to know how it's going, and if it's going horrible, I'm like, oh shit, okay, Mayday, and call that
Shift
audible.
gears.
Let's head this way. And
Yeah.
and sometimes even something that I want to talk about, I could be talking about it for a year or 7 years, but I might deliver it a little different every night depending on who
The
I'm
audience.
talking to, the age. Sometimes just the vibe of the show deserves
Right.
a higher, a quicker pace or a slower pace. Um, it's a lot like boxing. It's a lot like NASCAR, a little bit, really, when you really think about it. Driving, you got to feel it out, and oh man, I'm gonna make that move there, and oh, bumped into somebody.
So who were as you're coming up, who were some of those comics that kind of took you under their wing and kind of showed you like their paths or opened those doors for you?
There was a comedy team way back in the day named O'Brien and Valdez, Jim O'Brien and Alex Valdez. Alex was a Mexican guy, blind, and they did sound effects. They were great. And Jim was just a funny as hell Irish guy, drunk. Imagine that. And they were both big drinkers, but they literally taught me a little stage presence. Said, "Hey, move the mic stand, do this, do that." Taught me some things that I've seen comics that have been doing it a long time that are great comics that still don't have the awareness to go, oh, that's in my way.
Mm.
That's obstructing. Somebody in the crowd is going, I wish he'd move that mic stand. I wish he'd move. Somebody in the crowd is thinking it.
Yeah,
So
that's
those
cool.
guys helped me. Obviously, I grew up next to, in that comedy club. Ron White started in the same comedy club. So I got to see more Ron White early shows than anyone on the planet. And I'm hanging out with Ron. Jeff Foxworthy came through there. Bill Engvall came through there. Larry the Cable Guy as Dan Whitney came through there. A guy named T.P. Mulrooney, who I don't know if people know his name, but I think he's one of the greatest comics I ever knew. J. Scott Homan. And there's just so many names that you learn from and you get to be around. And then I got to be lucky when I hit LA. I started doing shows with Paul Rodriguez and Cheech and George Lopez, and so I've been around a lot of comedy greats, really. And it's I don't want to say it rubs off, but you get to see some of the best at it, and and try to be up to par with them,
Right.
you know.
So as you're kind of
How about a
progressing,
drink?
yeah, all the drinks.
Sure.
Man,
Here we
Supreme
are.
Court, you with me?
Yes, sir.
Are you neat too? No ice cube.
I had one in there earlier.
So what? Ricky, you're drinking the Repo, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm drinking. Chris,
Yep.
what are you drinking?
The Repo as well.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
How about you?
I'm drinking healthy stuff.
Chad is our DD.
Yeah,
I'm the designated driver.
He's our
always.
representative. Be good guy.
Is he driving y'all home tonight? You're all in different places. I'm doing my best not to call him a pussy in front of everybody.
Well, that's usually the moment of the show
What
where I do
that's
it, and
about
I get
typical.
yelled at. So why don't you fucking do it?
I am the lone like unicorn of the I thought we had this.
It sounds even gayer.
Yeah, I know.
I
He's got
love
gayer
where
than
this
you were
is
10
going.
seconds ago.
This is my favorite show by far.
Oh, I told you guys. I told you. And Rick in particular. I text Rick and I said, "Look, my buddy Alex is coming on the show. You are going to love this guy. You're going to connect this guy."
I'm on a fucking plane seeing him in his show. I'm all over this right now.
Yes.
Oh, anyways, yes, I'm the one guy who I've never been drunk. I've never been high. I've never drank ever. Like, so I support you. I'm not an anti. My wife drinks enough for both of us. So
you just reminded me. One time I was in a limo with Ron and my sister. Ron dated and married my sister for 4 years.
Knew it.
Yeah,
You called it.
Told you, Bearden.
You did.
God damn it! I knew I was tied in on this somehow.
Did he not?
I've been a Ron Light fan my entire life.
Did he doubt you?
We just kind of left it as, because I wasn't completely sure. We can get to it at a later point, but I used to watch him bourbon cigars.
Right.
All of a sudden, I'm in Pachanga in Temecula, and I live there. And I'm all excited. I go, all of a sudden, he's up there with tequila.
Yeah.
And Number Juan, and I could have swore you were part of that show.
And we're gonna get to that.
All right, we're gonna get to it. Sorry. Now the host is.
So let me tell you the story.
I gotta get back in my lane, Alex. I'm sorry. I gotta get back in my lane and go quiet.
No.
I'll tell you what you reminded me of when you were saying that is, the fact that you've never been drunk, you've never been high, you've never been any fun.
It's true.
We were in a limo. We're in Salt Lake City. We'd just done some show there the night before, and it's me and my sister and Ron, and we're a fun group to hang out with.
Yes, you are.
And
even if I'm sober, you still fun.
And the driver was like, we were just talking about, hey, we're in Salt Lake City. And I said, man, those people were drinking like crazy, and they were laughing at all the dirty stuff that I do and the Ron does. And he says, oh yeah, they because that's a Mormon community,
right?
100%.
And he says, yeah, they like to let loose. And he says, I'll tell you, he says what he said, once a year there's a big whatever conference. He says literally 150,000 Mormons from across the planet come here. And I said, he goes, it's called and I go, a fucking
boredom.
I just can't imagine 150,000 Mormons being a lot of fun.
That's hysterical.
At all.
Oh, I had a question somewhere. I know what my question was. But now to my question. So as you're building this career and things start progressing, obviously I relate lots of things to how careers progress in country music. So I'm assuming you either like put together your own tour, or you get a tour as an opening act for somebody else, right? How does that work for you? And what was your progression through that?
Again, everybody's different, I was doing clubs all across the country for a while, just like most comics that I was a Texas guy, so all through the Midwest and the Northeast and then out west a little. But when I hit Los Angeles, um, that was kind of interesting because I'd been out on the road for a while. And I remember thinking, I'm gonna go to Hollywood and I'm gonna become a star quick. I just it was in my brain as a kid, and I was just cocky, you might say, in that sense. But I get there and I go. Someone invites me to do the Laugh Factory on a Monday night, which was a Latino night. And they did two sold out shows for easily 2 decades every Monday, and this is 230 people. And the first time I went there, I get there and I'm thinking this is gonna be great. But when I get there, I see all these Latin comics that I had no idea that existed. Um, and some of them everyone knows now: Willie Barcena, Felipe Esparza, Darren Carter. He's a white redheaded guy, but he's Mexican at heart. Um, Freddie Soto, he passed away. Jeff Garcia, Gilbert Esquivel, Rudy Moreno. It was a who's who of very prominent Latin comics. And I remember sitting in the back of the room thinking, all right, this is going to take a little longer than I thought, because they were great and they were all very different. And then when I walked up, I literally remember hearing somebody in the front row go, "Hey, this guy kind of talks funny. What's his deal?" Because I was like, I sound like this Southern guy. But Paul Rodriguez was there and he saw me and he said, he goes, "You're kind of different with your, hillbilly thing, Mexican." And he took me on the road and started letting me open shows. And I think he paid me $850 to go to like Toledo plus airfare and to do 20 minutes. And I was like, all right. Because that's what I was making, a week somewhere, doing 6 shows
Right.
or 1,500. It just depends. But he was the first one that I started opening shows for in theaters. Um, and then that led into the Latin Kings of Comedy, which I just happened to be one of the guys that got to be a part of that. And about that time is when the Blue Collar Boys did the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. And of course, Ron and I spent 4 or 5 years in the early years in my truck and his together. So we were dearest of friends, but I hadn't seen him in 2 years or three. And then when we quit working with both of those groups on a regular, Ron with the Blue Collar and me with the Latin Kings, Tater gave me a shout and said, "Hey, man, I'm doing all these huge shows. You want to come and open for me?" And I said, "Fuck yeah." So we did that from '08 to 2020,
Yeah.
and
Man,
in that
what a
time,
run.
Ron and I did,
Wow.
I would
That's a
say,
run.
yeah, I would say 70% of the shows that I did were with Ron in those years. What is that? '08 to 2020, 12
It's
years.
12.
Yeah, but it's still doing my own thing on, but I do 20 minutes in front of Ron and I just got to, between the Latin Kings and Ron and a few other, I think it's the only people I really opened for. Um, I just got exposed to a lot of big theaters, 20, 25, 30 minutes at a time, which is a godsend, is a blessing. And
Hmm.
that's and it's different for everybody. It happens different for everybody. I mean, ask Matt Rife. That guy's on top of the
Right.
world, and I have no idea how it happened for him.
Right. So that's where we met. So I was in Vegas playing I was doing I think 10 or 12 days for the National Finals Rodeo,
Oh
and
yeah,
you and Ron were there doing a residency.
we probably weren't drinking or nothing.
No.
Where we
No.
were we at the Mirage? Is that where we're at? Or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So we were both playing the Mirage. So they were playing the theater. I was playing the what do they call that? Like the little small room outside of the
The
um
parlor,
yeah, the parlor. That's where I was
parlor.
at. Yeah.
And Ron and I would do, because we had our tequila company, and the MGM, which is used to be part, or the Mirage, which used to be part of the MGM, um, they they carried our tequila. And
Mm.
one of the things that Ron and I would do is after the show, we'd have an after party at the parlor, and they would sling the shit out of Number Juan Tequila, and we would just
That's
tell the
cool.
audience, "Hey, there's an after party, costs nothing to go. Just drink our tequila when you're there."
Get
And
after it.
and
So these guys showed up. So Alex and Ron and the whole entourage shows up, and somebody comes up and they're like, hey, Alex Reymundo and Ron White are here, and they want to come up and they want to give everybody tequila. And I'm like, yeah, come on with it.
Are we cool?
And so
Hell
we had a
yeah.
blast, and they were so nice and hung out for the whole show. And then we finished the show, and Ron said, "Hey, let's go back to my suite. I got a big suite on the other side." And his suite was like five of our hotel rooms or something. So
Yeah. The
uh
villa had his own pool.
yeah, the villa, yes. So we went back there and hung out to like I don't know what, 5, 6 in the morning or something like that, and had a blast. And then we just kind of like Alex and I really hit it off well, and so we've stayed in touch since. And I'll see his
And
as
that
I'm
was
out on the
when,
road.
Chad? How far does that go back?
2018 probably.
Yeah, probably
Okay.
about that. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, it's got to, yeah, it had
Yeah,
to
that
be
was always a lot of
2017,
fun.
2018, somewhere in there.
That was always a lot of fun, those shows, because there's, people from everywhere coming in, and they're already nice and liquored up. They've been drinking. They're in Vegas. So they've been drinking since they
They're in a
woke up,
good, having a good
unless
time.
they were Chad. But but you
Listen,
know,
I've made so many bad decisions in my life, stone cold sober. I'm afraid
Oh
what I
my
would be
God.
like.
but we'd have fun, and and that's exactly we'd walk in and give everybody tequila, and just kind of wet the whistle, and then get them to buy it. But that's kind of our approach to everything, is with Number Juan Tequila, and with what I do and with what Ron does. And if we're together, then we do it together, all three, me, him, and Number Juan Tequila. Is we look at any situation and go, how can we enhance this party?
Mm.
And
That's
and
awesome.
and, and that's kind of the approach we've
It's
always
a
taken.
great mantra.
It is,
But
and you know what? And we're genuine. We're genuine. We're our commitment to the party is relentless and sincere. So we people kind of are attracted to that, and I dig it. It's
and
been
that's
fun.
and that's what I was gonna say too, is like it wasn't any different. The thing that made me really genuinely like you guys, because obviously being in the profession that I was in, that you're in, that you meet tons of stars and you meet tons of people, and they're really good at putting on the glamour and taking the pictures, and then you turn all that off,
Yeah, there's
and
somebody
and
different then.
and it's completely different.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that way for 1 second with either you or Ron. Like you guys were so incredible, and you've again, you and I have talked and kept in touch since 2018 or 2017 or whenever that was. And not that we necessarily like talk every week or whatever, but
No,
like
I think if we
if
talked every week, I would have known that you don't drink and smoke or anything. We
yeah,
wouldn't be talking that much.
right, we would talk less. But
Oh
Oh
my God,
God.
this guy is my
Yes.
godsend.
yeah,
Yes.
I told you, Ricky, I said
Listen.
I
you're gonna
Hey,
love
swear
this
to
guy.
I'll
God.
say this. Thank you for your kind words. But that's I got to give credit to my mom and dad for that. My mom and dad just raised me to be, who I am, and just be genuine, and not shit on people. And
Yep.
and you know what? Again,
Yeah.
we
Good
came to this
human.
country when I was 2 years old. My mom was a housekeeper. She scrubbed toilets until she became the executive housekeeper and told people to scrub toilets. Um, my dad was a waiter and a banquet captain in some of the finest hotels in Dallas Fort Worth. And so, when I'm at a comedy club or a theater, I know it takes everybody,
Yeah.
to put that event on. And there's a sound and a light guy. There's the at a comedy club, there's the waitresses and the guy washing the dishes in the back, and or
Right.
the girl, whoever it
It's
may
true.
be. And so we're just that's it takes everybody to put on the show. you know.
So how does comedy, you and Ron being on the road together, turn into a tequila company?
Drinking, it's I've always consumed tequila. That's it. Tequila and water. I might drink 7 beers a year. I just, even when I was in high school, I play quarters and lose and throw up and all that. But I just love tequila, and as the ability made itself possible, I would drink better tequila, and I'd look for tequila, and one day I just went down to Mexico on just for fun, on kind of a drinking binge, not a drinking binge, but just to check out distilleries for fun, not to own a company. And I stumbled across this little distillery in Mexico that a friend of mine said, "Go check this one out," it's called Revesca, and they make a tequila called Regalo de Dios, which means gift from God. And I'm a fan of a lot of tequilas. More, I'm also not a fan of more tequilas, but I've never had a tequila that I like everything that they make. But I drank from this little distillery, and I've been drinking a lot that day. Been to at least 9 distilleries, but I went to that one, and when I drank their tequila, I literally liked all 4 bottles: their blanco, their reposado, their añejo, and their extra añejo. And I was just like, that's the best tequila I've ever had in my life. All 4 expressions, and there's other beautiful tequilas, but that was just the words that came out of my mouth. And then Ron looked at me, and he was talking about the extra añejo, which is the black bottle. It looks just like this, but it's a black label. And Ron said, "Alex," and he was a Scotch drinker at that time, very famous, very famous for that. And he said, "Alex, that's not just the best tequila I've ever had. That's the best drink of liquor I've ever had." His words. And then I just looked at the guy, Nestor Rivera, the master distiller, and I said, "Dude, where do you have this in America? Because I've never seen it. What state? Because I'll start drinking it on stage." I said, "My buddy's a really famous comic, but I'm kind of famous, and I drink tequila on stage. I'll drink it on stage." And he says, "You can't because we don't sell it in America." And when he said that, just a little light went off in my head. I could hear my dad from the grave saying, "No seas pendejo," which means don't be a fucking idiot. And I begged the guy for the rights. I begged him for the rights to bring it, and it took us. That was 2011. By 2013, we had our first bottles in Kentucky and Texas, which is my homes, which my mama lives and where I live, and we've worked our asses off since then. And we're a tiny little company. So anybody that sees this podcast, and I know you get a lot of viewers because just talking about the lineup of who you had before, it's pretty amazing. I'm honored and blessed to be on your show. But check out our tequila. Go to numberjuantequila.com. It's me and Ron are the owners. We have a couple other partners. It's not a big thing. I always tell people this is all my daughter's quinceañera money is in there. And we don't, and Ron always says we don't have a marketing budget. Other companies got these billion-dollar budgets, and it's a billionaire's game. And Ron's a millionaire. I'm not. But we don't have that budget. Ron always says, we have me and Alex saying, "We got an awesome tequila because you ought to give it a fucking drink," but the tequila is second to none. It's second to none. You might find one or two that you love just as much, but they ain't playing around. Century-old distillery. They don't compromise integrity for mass production. And if I went in there tomorrow and said, "Let's do this because it's the latest craze or it's going to save us some money," they'd kick me out of the kitchen, which I love that about them because they're artists, So,
well, cheers to that, because
a tequila company.
I was a bourbon guy, and this shit's pretty damn good.
Yeah. So Chris, I called when I was following around like a bourbon drinker, but that's right. He was a Scotch drinker. I had that wrong. It was Scotch with the big
bourbon
stogies.
A long time ago, Ricky. You a long time ago.
It was. And I've watched him many, many years, and it would sit there on that little 4-stool, little bar stool sitting next to him as he went on stage. And I'm like, man, I just love how he rolls. And I agree with you, Justice. It's legit.
It's good. That's legit.
Thanks for digging it, and I'll tell you, Ricky, Ron's an easy hang.
I'm allowed to drink more. I don't even need to ask Chad because he's going to say fucking no anyway.
Whatever.
All right, don't get mad. Don't get mad.
I will tote it to you. I don't care.
This is not about getting mad now.
Listen, some
people are picking on you. Just relax. We're not going to take your lunch money. You're still the show host. Just relax.
Listen, I say we figure out how to put this Number Juan Tequila in front of a whole bunch of NASCAR fans.
Absolutely, please.
We've got a giant stage coming up. So,
well, listen,
Yeah.
I have the answer to that.
Yeah, that's simple.
and
You think if you said to Noah
we,
Gregson at 9 o'clock in the morning, can we slip one of these down and go? Come on.
and we might also know some folks that run hospitality for for a particular NASCAR team, right?
Yeah, Haas factory team. We put some tequila up in there.
We could put some tequila in there.
It'll make their cars go faster.
Or the sponsor gets happier if we do suck on Sunday.
You know what?
You never know.
There's something to that. You make those sponsors happy, and tequila is a very happy buzz, and especially if you learn to sip it the way we are.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? That's what it's about. And because when sponsors are happy, well, then the person and you get winning is nice too. It's about
we don't listen, Alex. We don't know what that is. You got to talk to the Hendrick guy for that. So talk to Supreme Court Justice.
Listen,
what'd you guys win? Like, I don't know. There's been 33 races. You and Gibbs have won 23 of 33. Whatever.
Yes.
Tell us how winning is, Chris.
We got two wins, Alex. Yeah, we got two wins.
Whatever. This guy got a ring this year, so
whatever.
Yeah, I didn't have any of the number one to go with it, but we were number one.
Well, you know what?
We got some now,
and we can make a slogan out of it. Number one. Well, I'd love to see one day. I'd love to see a NASCAR with the Number Juan car.
Oh my God,
that would be badass.
And you know what? The name Number Juan came from a joke that I did. Do you guys know where it comes from?
Damn it! There goes one of my questions, Chad.
Okay.
Well, damn it.
Excellent. No, that's all right. Hey, pretend like you asked me.
He always actually gives me 5 minutes where I can actually contribute. And he's like, well, I know Ricky's got a lot of questions. And that was one of them. Go ahead.
Ask me the question, Ricky.
Hey, so Chad, I had a question for Alex, and it was Number Juan. I like the way that rolls. Where did the name Number Juan come from?
Hey, no questions. I didn't know there were going to be follow-ups to this shit.
Sucks when you're trying to get sucks when you're trying to get honest with a comedian. Hey,
so do me a favor. Do me a favor real quick, Ricky. The bottle, just slide it to your inside a little bit. I'm going to tell everybody something cool real quick. Just right where it is. Okay. Now move that little booklet. Okay, see the face on there? I saw you when you put it up there. That's my dad. I put my dad's picture on the neck of every bottle of Number. First and foremost, I got to say that.
Nice touch.
Dad.
Nice touch.
Thank you, Chris.
That's legit.
Yeah, nice touch.
So check this out. The name came from, first of all, Mexicano, right? Nací en Mexico, hablo español. To this day, if I'm at my mom's house or on the phone with my mother, we speak Spanish. That's the rule of Casa de Reymundo. You never forget where you come from, but when we came to the U.S., we assimilate. We came legally, everybody, and encourage.
And hopefully, this country welcomed you for that. So that's awesome.
Thank you. And guess what? We knew people that didn't. Yep. And my mother and father were the people that encouraged them to get legal immediately because you gotta be a part of what's happening.
That's it.
So I speak Spanish, but and I love tequila, but I'm this Southern boy at heart, and I married a Kentucky girl, and so in my audience is Latin, white, black, Asian, gay, straight, whoever it is, they're there, and they're there to have a good time. And so I wanted to be inclusive. So I wanted to name it something that's not hard to say, like Regalo de Dios or Tres Generaciones or Centenario or Coralejo or these other, all these.
I would butcher that shit.
Right.
Yeah, Chris, you ain't getting through that. Neither am I. Let's be honest with each other.
Put that Greensboro, North Carolina.
Number Juan is so easy. I love that.
Yeah.
But where it comes from is I used to do a joke about it. It was recently my birthday, and my wife said, "Why don't we go to the spa?" And I said, "That sounds like your birthday," But I went because it's about being together, and they suggested that I should start with a mani pedi, and I said, "Mani pedi? That sounds like a Mexican NASCAR driver." Right?
That's pretty good.
Mani Petty.
That's awesome. Mani Petty, long distance cousin of Richard Petty.
Yeah. I go, it's Mani Petty in the Number Juan car, the uninsured F-150. And that would get a huge laugh. And so I thought, well, Number Juan is a great name.
The uninsured F-150.
It's so great.
You don't want to trade paint with Manny. I think it was another line on there.
Oh my God.
That's incredible.
So it came from there, and I got to tell you, one time as I was putting it all together, because by the way, I did the work. It's me and Ron and our partners that have done every bit of this work. Getting it here, doing all the things. We've had to learn how to be a liquor company.
Yeah.
But when I was coming up with the names, I was at a DMV and I had a little list, and I looked at this lady that looked like my wife, pretty blonde, blue-eyed lady, and I said, "What do you think of this? A couple these four names for a tequila company?" And she saw number one, and she's number one. She said, "I like that one." And she said, "And I like it because thank you for including me." She said, "I love tequila, but I only drink it at home because when I'm at a restaurant, I'm embarrassed that I can't pronounce it." So I was, right on to what I was thinking. So number Juan it is.
That's awesome.
That's hell of a story.
So Alex, tell people, because you can get Number Juan nationwide, right? Essentially nationwide.
Yes, you can. We're on shelves in a lot of states, and it takes a lot to make that happen, and it takes a lot to push sales to keep that going. And unfortunately, that's where we're not the big company. We don't have the huge backing. We're like Ricky Bobby in that Me car, and which, by the way, I don't know if y'all know this. When Kurt Busch did that 9 years ago or 12 years ago. Do you remember that when he had no sponsors and he ran the Me car one time, just like Ricky Bobby?
Chris, you remember you were at Stewart House when they put that Me car
Chris
on
was
there.
there then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Chris
that was
there.
my idea. I told Kurt Busch to do that.
No way.
Yeah, because at the time we had met Kurt somewhere. And by the way, I know a lot of NASCAR fans hate him,
he was good to me.
I told him, I said, they're not booing, they're saying Bush. Thank you. But what a great guy he was to me and to Ron. We had a lot of great times with him.
Interesting.
But anyway, the easiest way to find this tequila is online. Go to numberjuantequila.com, which is our website. Order it straight from there. Technically it comes from us, but there's a company that does the shipping. So because of that, we're able to cut out one of the steps that when it's at the store. So it's cheaper than anywhere you can find it. There is a shipping fee, which is $20. So you're kind of right back in the same neighborhood, but this is amazing. If you order 1 or up to 12 bottles, it's still just a flat $20. So it makes sense to order 3 or 4. And dig this, when you go to checkout, there's a discount code. Just put my name, Alex, gives you another 10% off of the total. So the very best price you can find, and you don't have to hassle with going to the, like for instance, if we're in Wisconsin, which we sell in Wisconsin on shelves, but not every liquor store, you might not find it with the one you go to. That's the easiest way. Numberjuantequila.com, discount code Alex, stock up.
Yeah, we'll put that on our.
Well, we found it here. Okay.
Yeah,
it's Justice. You were responsible for this, right? When I came over to your house, where'd you grab it?
Over off of Prosperity Church here, ABC store.
Yeah,
ABC. Okay.
Concord, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Oh, so you're North Carolina. Yeah, North Carolina has been great to us. The ABC stores there have been fantastic to us.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've been going once a year now for 3 years to Ocean Isle Beach.
Okay.
And doing a show, and I dig me some North Carolina. I wish I'd straighten out some of them highways because holy shit, man.
They're really bad right now after the hurricane wiped some of them out, man.
Hey, I travel for a living. I'm a road comic, so I drive. And boy, you drive through North Carolina, it's beautiful. I live in Kentucky and it's beautiful. North Carolina blows us away. But the roads, even the freeways, you're like, holy shit, I better slow down, because they wind. And when you get into those mountains and those roads like towards Cherokee, holy shit.
Yeah.
The tour bus was doing 4 miles an hour for 2.5 hours.
You're used to those Kentucky roads where the potholes are like fishing ponds over there. Man, when we used to leave out of Nashville to go on the road, essentially, if you're going anywhere out Midwest where it's just, my biggest audience was always the Midwest. I don't know how your experience is, but Midwestern folks will show up.
Yeah,
thank you.
Midwestern folks are cool.
Of course we will. Especially them Ohio people, Chad.
Listen, I think I could have toured 360 days a year in the Midwest.
Thank you.
And I'm from the South. But we always had to go through Kentucky, and man, the stinking potholes in Kentucky would wear me out. You'd be trying to like you just left Nashville, and typically, you leave at midnight or 2 o'clock in the morning, and so
Right.
you get in the bus or the van or wherever, and you head out, and you get to Kentucky, and it's rough.
It's rough, but I've always thought Nashville had the worst, especially in the downtown area. And but here's how you navigate the potholes in Kentucky. The pot, it's really good. So
The pot helps the pothole. I like
Right,
it.
right, right.
Oh god. All right. So speaking of you being on the road, what do you got coming up? Where's shows?
I'm headed to New Mexico for the next couple of weekends. I'm doing a show just outside of Albuquerque this coming weekend. What's today's date? Today's the 13th. Yeah, this weekend. And then the next weekend, I'm hosting a thing called Monster Palooza. It's a big kind of rock festival. And they always have a comic do it. And I did a show 2 years ago, and that's in Alamo Gordo, New Mexico. And when I had a show 2 years ago, the guy that puts that other thing on, he saw me and he was like, "Oh, you're what we need at this thing." So I'm going there. I'm excited about it. I was in Roswell, New Mexico, not too long ago,
Oh,
and
wow.
I started looking for aliens.
Looking for the Martians.
Yeah, and you know what I found? Nothing but little brown men. It was weird.
That's it.
Where'd they come from?
Oh, anything coming out? Any specials? Anything like that for folks to be looking
No,
for?
no, not right now. I wanted to do something before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, and we didn't do it, and I've kind of been spinning my wheels, just touring since then. I really need to put another special out. And you want to hear a title I came up with the other day?
I would love
I've,
it.
I've been touring under the last couple of years under it's the Tequila Talking tour, so I get kind of gives me a license to say whatever I want, and I go, that's just the Tequila Talking. Um, but I'm looking at the world, man. I'm looking at the world, and by the way, big shout out to the president and to all the powers that be that made the peace deal happen.
Got those. Got.
Yeah,
I heard it was
the
either
hostages
yesterday
out.
or early this morning, right? Those hostages were released.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched it all live,
Crazy.
and just to know, I mean, who knows where it'll go, right? Who knows where it'll go? It's going to be a lot of let's pray for cool heads and
Yeah,
and calm hands,
for sure.
throughout, because it's going to take some work, right? But just the fact that we're at a place today where all those people said, yeah, let's try not fighting for a while. In the middle, I mean, we're all old enough. How many times have you heard somebody make a joke about peace in the Middle East?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pray for
Always.
peace in the Middle East.
Always.
Technically, right now, it's on the table. Peace in the Middle East in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So shout out to the president, but in watching the world, what's going on right now, and just in every situation, I'm old enough and bold enough to say I think the world, our nation, and the entire planet is due for a spanking. Everybody needs to be spanked a little, and I'll pay extra, But
Agreed.
just
Just cut the shit.
It's like we need to wake the fuck up. We
Yeah.
need to get a little common sense to approach to what's going on, and also we need to not be afraid of being men. And so here's the working title. I thought of it about a week and a half ago. Toxic masculinity. What do you think? I think it's going to piss some people off, but it's from my Mexican perspective, and it's
I like it.
play on
Hey,
toxic, obviously.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Who cares if they get mad? Fuck them.
Yeah, I never have. I've never worried about being canceled because
You can't cancel good jokes.
I've never
That's all I
concerned
can
myself
say.
with that. What's that?
I said you can't cancel good jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and I don't want to say that my jokes are all good, but I don't think I've ever offending anybody on purpose. I'm just being me, and I'm trying to let everybody have a good time, and everything's on the table. By the way, if you come to my show, and plenty of comics, not just mine, I'm liking to see that that's the state of comedy now. When you come to the comedy club, leave it all, you leave your emotions, your feelings, all that stuff at the door.
Yeah,
Everything's on the table to laugh at.
Yep.
And we can laugh at everybody. And every once in a while, it's going to come to you. And that's probably the time you're not going to be comfortable with it.
Yep.
But I always say, look, the joke can be on you because you're Mexican. The joke can be on you because you're a woman. The joke can be on you because you're retarded. And some of you may check all three boxes, you know.
See, Chad, I knew you could still say retarded. Somebody told me that word was stricken. You could still say retarded. Thank you,
I'm
Alex.
not worried about it because
thank you.
Yeah, it's and by the way, I'm not picking on Latin women. I'm not picking on Latin women there. I'd never speak badly of them. That's they're strong spiritual women, which is why I married a white chick so I could be the man of the house.
They kick your ass.
I came out of a Mexican house. I'm like, them bitches are crazy back there.
Oh, all right, Ricky. What else you got on your notes over there?
Are you letting me?
You're off and running.
All right, sweet. All right, man. I was waiting for this. It's awesome. All right, Alex.
Yes, sir.
I want you to rank the top 4 tequilas after Number Juan.
Are you asking him to promote other brands right
now?
No,
I just like that.
Let him be honest. And because then I have a follow-up.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. There's a lot, and you know what? If I don't name your brand, and I'm sure you've got an awesome tequila because there's a lot of really good tequilas out there.
Well, here's the deal. There's no bullshit. You're my tequila because I'm not an experienced tequila drinker. I drink Blue Moon, and you said you drink 7 a year. I drink about fucking 7 a night. But anyway, now that I'm into this and I like it, I want to ask this question first, and then I have a follow-up.
Okay. I don't know if I'll get to 4, but Fortaleza.
Okay.
Fortaleza. And I think most people would agree that is, if you talk to tequila connoisseurs, that's everyone's like, oh, that's the best, hands down. It's a beautiful distillery. They do it right. Fortaleza. And sometimes it's hard to find. Okay. And I would say that was probably, if you were looking at, if it was on the stock exchange, that one would have the best numbers, the best what do they call it when you review shit?
Reviews. I don't know. Stars. Chad, what is it? What's that social media shit that counts? I don't
like
even know.
Yelp reviews.
Yelp reviews. If you could just poll everybody, Fortaleza would probably always be the top.
Okay.
There's a tequila called Coralejo. I'm not a fan of the white one, but their blue bottle, their reposado, is delicious. And I don't know if it still is, but it used to be because a lot of times companies get bought. And when they get purchased, and I don't know if they've been purchased or not, but I just don't pay attention. It's almost like my comedy. People are like, well, what do you think about that comic? And what do you think about what they're saying? I'm like, I'm so busy doing what I'm doing. I don't have time to think about that shit.
All right. So that gives us a top 3. Now let's go back to Number Juan and tell me, when you were so amazed, tell me the distinct taste differences between the tequilas. A reposado. What's that?
Yeah, you took my question.
That's Chrissy. Well, Chrissy, Supreme Court, this could be your question. Go ahead.
No, good answer it. But that's what I was thinking as well. Like, all right, what's the difference?
Tell me between añejo, silver, reposado. What are the taste characteristics?
I'll break it down. And before I go any further, there's a tequila called El Tequileño, which is definitely a great tequila. El Tesoro, I believe, is a great tequila. And every tequila has a blanco, a reposado, and an añejo. Most of them do. There's some companies like Lalo, which is a nice tequila, also very nice tequila. They only make, I want to say it's an extra añejo, but they take the color out of it. I believe very popular. Lalo, everybody loves it from the Don Julio family. But most tequilas have a blanco or silver or white. Then there's the reposado, which is a Spanish word that means slightly rested.
Okay.
Criteria to be a reposado means you've taken your white tequila and you've aged it 3 to 9 months in whatever barrel you want. Could be any kind of barrel that you want. And then there's the añejo, which is 1 to 2 years in whatever barrel you want. And then there's the extra añejo, which is anything over 3 years. So Everyone has those. Not everybody has an extra añejo. Not everybody carries everything.
Yep.
They make all of that at our distillery.
Yep.
I chose to only carry all of those except the añejo, and the only reason is because the añejo and the extra añejo that they make are exactly the same. One has more time, so I wanted that one, and so I'll break it down. The key, I think, the most important part is the Blanco. It starts with the silver tequila, and it comes down to fully mature plants. The agave plant should grow 7 to 8 years before you harvest it. Many mass producers cheat that process because they're mass producers and they're pulling. When I first started the industry 13 years ago, I was told that, oh, some people pull them at 5 years, some pull, then it was 4, and then it's even as young as 3, which is, here's another bad word that you probably shouldn't say. It's almost like raping something, and it's not ready. It's just it's horrible. A fully mature agave plant at 7 to 8 years is as tall as me with my hands in the air. A 3-year-old plant is maybe 2.5, 3 feet tall. So when you pull it out of the ground, the nut that's in there, the piña, the pineapple, which is what my bottle is designed after, when it comes out of the ground and you shave the shoots off, that thing should be about the size of a half of a barrel that you see at a liquor store. When you pull one that's at 3 years, it's about the size like a college football, and it's just not the same thing.
Right.
So when they do that, they have to add artificial flavors, sugars, all kinds of stuff because it's not ripe yet. It's not ripe. So it starts with the Blanco. Again, our guys, 7 to 8 years, they pull those plants and they measure the sugar. And if it's not what they want, they sell that agave to other mass producers. So our guys are sticklers in that sense. And then they take that Blanco tequila. I'm sorry, 7 to 8 years in the ground. We double distill. That process takes about 2 weeks. So you wait 7 to 8 years to watch a plant grow, and then within 2 weeks after you take it out of the ground, we've got white tequila in the bottle. To make a reposado, you take some of that white tequila that you didn't put in a bottle and you put it in barrels. And what we choose to do is put it in 2 barrels, a bourbon barrel and a cognac barrel. So French and American, we let them sit for 9 months each separately, and then we blend those two together. So this one that you're drinking, everybody, Chris and Ricky, and thanks for playing along, Chad.
Chad, he's listening. It matters. Don't worry, he's fine.
Anyway,
it's our show now. This show belongs to Chris and I and you. We're good. Let's go.
This is technically two full-bodied reposados coming together to make one, which is why I think this goes toe-to-toe against anybody's añejo on the market. It's beautiful. And then our extra añejo.
And it's bourbon is the one barrel, and what's the other?
Cognac.
Okay.
Cognac, yeah.
And then the black bottle, which I think, Chris, if you show,
you have in the background over there, don't you, Chris?
The black bottle. There you go. The black bottle. See the darker color?
Yeah, don't hide the black guy.
And the profile difference.
That was funny. Come on, that was funny.
That was good. That
was a good one.
That
was a good one.
Hey, Chris, you didn't have to move. We could see it.
That was better. Now we know who the comedian in the room is.
I'll take it.
So the flavor and the color comes strictly from the barrel, and the black bottle that I was saying, that one is just the bourbon barrel, but 3.5 years. And that one genuinely feels like a bourbon or a scotch when you drink it. I recommend one ice cube, which is why Ron fell in love with it. That's the one I drink the least. It's beautiful, but it always takes me 2 drinks to get used to that little heavier flavor. But here's the beautiful thing. On all 3 of them, the agave is what rules. And the agave, the sustain of the buzz that you get, and it's just beautiful.
So if you're a beginner, you'd go Blanco.
Here's what I always do. I always ask somebody, what do you normally drink when you're not drinking? Is your go-to gin vodka?
No, I'm a vodka guy.
Okay, then I would say go Blanco, because no matter what you do with your vodka, you can replace the vodka with the tequila, and you'll be feeling the same. Like if you drink with orange juice or cranberry juice or on the rocks with soda, whatever you do, you'll love it. But here's what you'll feel different is 2 or 3 days later, if you keep drinking tequila, you'll be like, man, that's a way more fun drunk or buzz or, whatever. You're just going to feel better.
Interesting.
Which is why Ron drank it. He was like, this is Ron's line, not mine. Again, famous for scotch, and he said, I drink a lot of scotch, and Ron drinks a lot. He quit drinking almost 3 years ago. God bless him. He needed to, but he said he would say when he was drinking scotch, that would make him very morose, and that would make nobody horny. And so he started drinking tequila, which made him want to dance and fuck, which is way better. It's just a fun buzz. Tequila's a stimulant. Everything else is a depressant. It's just fun. It's just fun. So anyway, if someone drinks vodka or gin, I say try the Blanco. If someone says I like blended whiskeys or Scotch or Crown Royal, and then I tell them drink my Reposado. I believe this one literally feels like an Irish whiskey. You could put them next to each other and then you go, oh, a lot of similar notes. And then the black one literally feels like a bourbon, a Scotch, or a cognac.
Oh, there we
Just
go.
depends on what you tell me about you. I direct you to a certain bottle.
Yeah. So if it's the vodka, you're pushing towards Blanco.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I want you to have a good experience.
So one of my questions was, and I wound up, this was some years back working for Sony. Somebody said mix tequila, and I won't say which tequila it was, but it was a Blanco. Mix tequila with this. You can't believe how drinkable and how good it is. And you just said if it's a Blanco, you can replace vodka out of the drink and have a happier buzz that makes you want to fuck and have fun and not be morose. And my question was going to be, it was tequila with Sprite. And I wanted to know if that made me a homosexual, but I guess it doesn't.
Not quite as gay as Chad, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you. At least I'm above the bar. Chad, thank you.
Here's why
show ever. Greatest show ever, Bearden.
Here's why I'd steer you away from the
This
Sprite.
is how we got kicked off the NASCAR stage.
Yeah, and by the way, I love Sprite. Nothing better.
No, I got it. And I was surprised by it. It was very sneaky, easy drinking.
Yeah. But here's why I'd steer you away from that, and I would tell you just to use soda water and squeeze a lemon and a lime in there.
Okay.
Because if we drink this straight and we're drinking water, that's lemon water, everybody. Because kidney stones. There's no hangover.
That's a good point.
There's no hangover.
Right, where the Sprite with the sugar will bring it.
Yeah.
That's fair. Thank you.
But you can drink bourbon or whatever else, and you're going to get a hangover because the root that they make bourbon, vodka, gin, all of those things, those are depressants. The root of this is the agave plant, which is a stimulant. So it approaches your body completely different.
All right, Chris,
Chad,
what questions you got?
Chad, thank you for all that airtime. I had fun.
Thank you, Chad.
What you got, Supreme Court Justice?
So, Alex, as a kid growing up, middle school, high school, you find yourself at the family barbecues, mom and dad, family over. Did you find yourself being the local talent then? Is that how you kind of discovered your comedy talents was, always cracking jokes and being, the live wire at the parties?
My family, Mexicans, right? We lived in a middle class white neighborhood, and all the kids loved to come to our house because you can't break what you don't have. We had a nice no furniture, but my one thing we did have is my aunts and uncles and cousins would gather every weekend or whatever the situation was, and sometimes to the chagrin of some of our neighbors, they're like, "Them damn Mexicans! Oh, there's like 30 of them over there." And there were. My parents were hard workers.
Mm-hmm.
They had a good time, but we never saw people getting fucked up at our house. They wouldn't allow that. But my family would have a good time. We built a pool, and so that everyone was in the water. But one thing that we used to do is, as children, at the end of the night, we would entertain the family. We would basically mimic what we had seen on television, Carol Burnett, I Love Lucy, Tony Orlando and Donnie and Marie. I'm 60, so that was a long time ago. We would just make up sketches. And we did that as kids. There was a time when I became a young man in junior high and high school. Then I was a jock, and I was pretty good at sports, and I kind of abandoned that stuff and kind of forgot about it. And I had really, I was kind of a quiet guy. I remember when I told some of my uncles I was going to be a comic, they were like, "You?" You never
Wow.
say anything. And but I'm very much an instigator. I was the guy at the back of the class that would kind of talk you into getting in trouble. Um, and so when I started stand up, I think those old roots kind of came back to me of performing. As I told you, my mom was a housekeeper, my father
Right.
was a waiter, my uncle, my mother's brother, yeah, he was a singer. Like Chad, he was playing guitar in bars, and I got to see that, and I remember that inspired me to be a performer. And of course, I was, very moved by Elvis because all the chicks he got. I was like, holy shit. And I just wanted to perform. And so I think that's what kind of threw me into it. I wanted to, and then when I started doing stand-up comedy, when I saw it for the first time, that I was exposed to it live, I just remember seeing all these comics and laughing my ass off and my face hurt. But I also saw these guys going home with some of the hottest chicks in the room in 1989 and 91. And I was like, holy shit. And I was trying to be a musician at that time. And I just wasn't, I can strum a guitar and I can sing two songs with a band. And after that, I suck.
Nice.
But I was chasing pussy. Is what it was.
That's awesome.
I was
Hell
chasing
yeah.
pussy. You know.
Hell yeah.
You want to hear a funny story about my uncle?
Let's talk.
Uh, Again, I used to watch him play. I was 9, peeking through the little curtain of the restaurant just to see him singing, and it was an adult show in there, and I had uh, he was my exposure to music. We didn't have, again, it was a long time ago. We didn't. I think the coolest kid at school was somebody that had a transistor radio, and that wasn't me. Um, but I had seen my uncle perform many times live, and he did this song called Imagine that I just was the most beautiful thing I'd ever heard. And one day we were playing soccer. I think it was fifth grade at recess, and the coolest kid at school had a transistor radio, and on the radio I heard Imagine on the radio, and I was like, "Hey, my Uncle
That's my
Tony's on the
uncle.
radio, man." I started screaming and I just got everybody's attention. I said, "My Uncle Tony's on the radio. This is crazy."
That's
And that
awesome.
kid goes, "Hey, dumbass, that's not your Uncle Tony. That's John
John
Lennon
Lennon.
with the Beatles, and the song's called Imagine." And I was like, "What?" And he said it again. And I said, "No, dude, that's my Uncle Tony. I've heard
They
that song."
stole his song.
And he goes, "You're an idiot." And I was so hurt by that. And again, this was a cool kid, and I'm not a fighter. But I'll fight. And my dad taught me, if you're gonna fight, you start hitting and you don't stop hitting until someone pulls you off. And
Yep.
this guy said it again, and I just started wailing on him. And I'm kind of a pussy too, because the 10 fights I've been in my life, I also cry when I hit you. You know, I just get that emotional. But I beat his ass, and they took us to the office, and it was a Catholic school, and I remember the principal yelled at both of us, and then he let him go, and he talked to me about how that's not how you solve your problems with your fist, and all this, and then he said, and just so you know, for the record, um, the song was that was John Lennon, and he was with the Beatles, and the song's called Imagine. Well, I lost my shit again. I started throwing shit in the principal's office, and they had to call my parents at the hotel in 1970 something and find the waiter and the housekeeper to get them on the phone to get the school. And I just wasn't hearing it. And eventually called my Uncle Tony. He came to the school. And when he got there, he was like,
Yeah, that's the Beatles.
yeah, he goes, "Dude, I appreciate the backup, but yeah, no."
Oh
Hey,
my gosh. So I wanted you to tell one more funny story before we let you go. So I text Alex the other day to like confirm that he was coming on the show, and he was like, yeah, I'll come on the show, but can you call me for a minute? And I was like, sure. So I called him, and apparently he had different numbers for me,
oh
but
yeah, I
which
forgot about
which which led to a very cool experience for a very excited Alex Reymundo fan.
Yeah, and I don't know how this dude, I don't know why I had his number in my book, and I don't know how it came up Chad Bearden, and it said Nashville singer-songwriter, and and
NASCAR super fan.
right, and I just, well, I thought you fucking forgot because it was in my calendar for I can't remember what day it was, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, you had it like the Wednesday before or something.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was like, so I looked up Chad Bearden and I just sent him a text. I said, "Hey, are we doing this podcast today?" And he was like, "Who the hell's this?" I said, "It's Alex Reymundo." And he goes, I said, "Comic, Number Juan Tequila." And he wrote me back. He said, "This is not," and he put all caps, "the Alex Reymundo. Shut the fuck up," or something like that. And I said, "Yeah, it is. Are we doing this?" It just and then I realized I don't know why. Because later when I erased that number, then your number did come up, but it's weird. It's one of those things. And this is odd. It's happened one other time with another friend of mine. No matter, I've got his contact, no matter what, it pulls up a different number. And it's weird, but that guy, we bantered back and forth, and he didn't believe it was
He's
me.
like, no way.
And I didn't believe he didn't have a podcast. I thought he was just fucking blowing me off. I was like, you son of a bitch. Quit wasting my time, motherfucker.
And now Alex has been texting him nudes for 2 weeks. So
yeah, I'm sending him dick pics. Again, but his girlfriend will show up to my show. That's who's coming now.
Oh my God.
Whoever this guy is, though, I mean, he's obviously a fan of Alex, but can you imagine like when
getting a call, right?
Yeah, getting a text from somebody and like it's somebody that you're a fan of.
Kyle Busch calls you. Like, could you imagine?
By accident.
And he's like, "Hey, I'm not going to win any more races, but I just want to say hi and be on your podcast."
Yeah,
it's crazy.
What a dick!
It's crazy.
What a dick!
Did that happen?
No, it's gonna happen. Just give it a few more years.
Okay. He's just giving me crap because my favorite driver currently his car sucks, and he runs about 28th every week right now. So. It is what it is.
Well, I mean, that family, they got great drivers. Yeah. Them brothers have proved it.
Hey, Chad, it was the tequila talking.
He's a two-time cup champion. And he's won 63 cup races.
Yeah, I mean, it was the tequila talking. I apologize in advance.
That's going to make our next podcast really fun.
It's the tequila talking.
Here's my dog, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
This is one of our dogs. This is the newest addition to the family. Her name's Happy.
She's Happy. Oh. She's like, great. What am I doing up here? Well, Alex, this has been a freaking blast. I mean, mostly at my expense, but
number one show. Did you get how I did that? Number one show. Nobody got that.
The puns are unbelievable.
He's not the only comedian on this show.
We should do a couple things. First of all, great job on the intros. I really laughed at the one on Ricky and then on Chris. I was like, that's funny. And I was already going, I hope he has something for me and a way to knock it out of the fucking park, Chad. And I've had a good time. But hearing what you guys talked about before I came on and what you're doing with NASCAR and all that sounds like a ball. And I'm going to just invite myself and say, invite me to some of this stuff.
Choose a race.
I'd love to come out. I know some of those guys.
Choose a race.
And I'd love to hang out. And what we should also do is we should talk about, we'll just do it right now. We should figure out a way that you guys drink Number Juan when you're talking to people and help us spread the word.
You got it.
Well, you don't have to figure much out. We can start next weekend or this coming. Like, what is so hard to figure out? Bring the fucking bottle.
Right. That's how easy it is.
Chris, are you with me?
100%.
Right.
We're
Chad,
headed.
you can drink the water chaser for us. It'll be all right.
We need a driver.
Listen, I will drive and I will pass out shots to everybody there. I will spread the word.
We're doing this.
You know that I listen. I will. I am fully on board, and especially, while I can't testify to how great the product is in this case, I can testify to how great the people are, because I can testify um to Alex and to Ron and to the legitimacy of who they are as people, and and they're real people and kind people and authentic people, and I appreciate. I mean,
Those are kind words, and I appreciate that.
I was some guy playing a guitar in a show much smaller than what you guys were doing, and you were so kind to me, and to still have this friendship years later, I appreciate it, and I appreciate
that is cool.
Kind words, and I got to tell you, it reminds me of when we were trying to figure out how to pitch this to the distribution companies, had to tell them to pitch it to their salespeople so they could go tell people about the tequila. It's about the tequila. Obviously we want them to know that me and Ron own it, and that's a fun part of it. But we don't want that to be lost in some, because some people forever, it took the critics to forever to taste this because they were like, it's a celebrity tequila. We don't need that. And it's not. It's a legitimate tequila that just happens to be owned by me and Ron, and we don't consider ourselves celebrity. I mean, Ron's definitely a celebrity, but we're just here's what we would always pitch. And we only said this because people would say it. We'd say, look, it's a badass tequila owned by two cool dudes. Because everywhere we'd walk into at night at bars, because again, we'd go see live music everywhere we go. That was mine and Ron's MO for 35 years. And people would always see us after the show, and some of the people that, and then when they got to know us, I'm sorry, when they knew us from the comedy, we'd still do the same thing. And people would always say the same thing when we were leaving bars. They're like, "You guys are some cool motherfuckers." They're like, "You're just fucking low down to earth and cool as shit." And so we kind of was like, "Well, let's pitch it that way."
Yeah, that's the
connection. Say it's a badass tequila owned by two cool dudes.
Yep.
Well, and that was so when I mean, I left this part out, but this is just speaks to who they are. When they came to the show, I've had tons of celebrities come to my shows over the years, and I've had, the fortune to be friends with people who are, very famous people. These guys showed up and they sat in the crowd.
Just regular people.
They didn't sit in a VIP section. They literally, I'm talking amongst the crowd, and people were just like, "Hey, can I get a picture? Hey, can I do a shot with you? Hey, can I do whatever?" And they hung out there the whole time. And they stayed. We finished the show. We packed up. We hung out, and they stayed and took a picture with every single person who wanted to take a picture. They signed every single thing that people wanted signed. I mean, it was, and again, and we're in Vegas during NFR, which if you've never been to Vegas during the National Finals Rodeo, it's huge. Like,
it's huge.
Every cowboy in the world's there. Every singer in the world's there. All of Nashville comes there. It's insane. And,
well, there's a reason they would book Ron 2 weeks in a row all the time. The first 2 weeks in December. And he had other weeks. He had 8 weeks in Vegas, but always 2 weeks in during NFL. But I'll tell you, here's a little secret. The reason we're like that is because we're here for a good time too. Yep. We're seeking the same fun time, and we we're just trying to have a good time. We're just trying to have a good time.
Well, we had a good time tonight.
Oh, hell yeah. Sure. Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
One last thing you made me think of. I love those NFR weeks because I was Ron's audience. And I'd come out and I'd walk out and I'd say, "Man, this is awesome. Rodeo week." And they'd cheer. I go, "Cowboys everywhere." And they'd cheer. I go, "Which is awesome. And unless you're an Indian." Holy shit. My hair was all black at the time. They're like, "Okay, yeah, dude, you got
it." That's perfect.
That's awesome.
So, hey, cheers to your audience. Thanks for having me on, guys. Really good time. I'm glad you reached back out to me, Chad. Sorry for standing you up last time, but I had that medical emergency, and
you were worth the wait, man. That was fun.
All good.
Incredible.
All good.
Thanks you so much for doing this. Go check them out. numberjuantequila.com.
Ricky, thank you. Chad, thank you. numberjuantequila.com. Thank you for that plug. And alexcomedy.com if you want to see me somewhere on the road, everybody. And don't forget, use that discount code when you order the tequila, Alex. That's it. And enjoy. And then write me. Say, hey man, you were right. This tequila is fucking badass. And and look for that special toxic masculinity. It's coming.
I like it. Alex Reymundo on Checkers, Wreckers, and What the Heckers, y'all.
What up, man?
So I went wide open, hoping for a little taste of that